You're listening
You're listening
You're listening
to another episode
of the FreshTakes
podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Fresh Takes podcast. I am your host, Tim, alongside my two favorite co-hosts, Tank and Pat. And week one is officially in the books, and I'm the only one who has depression.
Well, not necessarily. But rightfully so, I think. Not too great over on your side there, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, for the first half of the game, the defense looked promising. Just like always, though, we can't learn to stop the run. But
I just want to know, since when did the Canadians? I didn't know they were playing NFL. I thought they were part of the NHL.
But before we jump into the Giants game, we'll go and hit all of the games before then. We had a Thursday night game. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in an AFC Championship rematch, and the Chiefs on top, 27-20.
I will say the only thing I got out of that game, kind of correct, was it was going to be a one-score game. I mean, yeah, I said it was going to be a 3-point game, and the Ravens were going to win.
Sure.
But I mean, it was a 7-point game. So I mean, I got. Give me that much credit that I picked a one-score game.
I mean, listen here. If you can't tell by how my pick'ems went this week, I figured week one, nobody knows how any team is. It's the time to take the shots, pick the teams. So now that we have more of a sense. Well, hey, I mean, the Cardinals, Bills, I'm big on the Cardinals. They almost did it. They kind of gave it away. But
I mean,
if they would have utilized Marvin Harrison, they could have won.
Yeah.
Especially that last drive.
I could have won fantasy too if they would have. So who knows, you know?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Kelsey didn't get as many reps as, or I'm not saying reps, but I'm saying I'm shocked that he didn't get as much. I thought he would have gotten.
I'm telling you, this is not going to be a Kelsey year.
They're a different offense.
They're expecting Kelsey, and Kelsey's getting older, so it's going to be Noah Gray who's getting the touches. Kelsey's just going to be that blocker and the guy who makes you get distracted.
And Kelsey's their big weapon when they don't have a receiving core that can be explosive downfield. Right now, Rice is proven he's pretty great, actually, and Xavier Worthy's explosive, and then they get Hollywood Brown back in the next couple weeks. This week, maybe next week.
And I mean, I know that he's kind of meh, but Juju can be there when you need him.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I mean, they got Justin Watson too, who's also really fast.
Yeah.
So I think the Chiefs have a solid receiving core this year. So I think Kelsey's going to be that guy who's blocking and taking the eyes off of the receiving core.
Speaking of tight ends not doing as much this year, is that the same with Likely and Andrews?
That's what I was just going to say. I think Mark Andrews is the same. You think, hey, that's Lamar's favorite guy. He's going to go to Mark Andrews a lot, and that left Likely open way too much. But the problem is, Likely's also the kind of built for he's a slot receiver built. Like, not only is he a tight end, but he's built like a slot receiver.
Oh, yeah.
So Likely can line up anywhere on that field.
He's good.
But I mean, too big a feat.
That damn toe.
Well, then here, let me ask you this: he catches it. Harbaugh wanted to go for 2. Are they converting or not?
Harbaugh always wants to go for 2.
And I'm thinking no matter what they're losing. Because anytime they convert and go for 2, I think they're like 0-8.
Yeah.
And that's when he wants to go to Mark Andrews.
I also feel like they should have. I don't feel like they gave a lot of. I don't know. I feel Derrick Henry can be an explosive back there. I really feel like he can really do something. But
Well,
I
that's
just I
another
don't know
thing.
what
The
what
first
was what was
drive,
going on.
the first drive, he got 5 carries. The second half of the game, he had 3 altogether.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I
I
mean, I
don't
get they were using
understand.
Justice Hill a lot, and I mean, Derek's coming off of that injury last year, but I don't know if he was that explosive in the first drive. You can't just leave him out. It's exactly how
That's
it
what I'm
went in the
saying.
playoffs last year. They did not utilize the run after the run was doing something. And I
So
think that's
I
just
mean,
the Ravens' problem. They
I
realize the
mean,
run's doing good, and then they don't do the run.
they also told Lamar, like, hey, you can run it if you want.
But I mean, imagine the options they can do back there. I mean,
Yeah.
Lamar pitches it to Derek, and one person on Derrick Henry is not taking Derrick Henry down that easy.
no,
And I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
and
Like with
go ahead.
Henry,
Sorry.
I really feel they should. He had, like I said, he has the potential back there. I think. I wish they would have stuck with him a little bit more.
I think just because it's like a week one big time matchup with probably the toughest opponent you'll play all year, like Ravens shouldn't be disheartened. They close game down to the wire. Like it was still a great performance. So I think they're still sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are still going to have a really good season ahead of them as long as this loss doesn't affect them too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it will. I think they'll just brush it off and be like, "Look, we were real close. It was by a toe. Let's not get down on ourselves."
Yeah.
So, all right.
But that's all I have to say.
After that, we got a Friday night game in Brazil where the field looked like absolute crap, but Pat's Eagles came out on top.
I didn't get to watch that game. I was coaching. I was helping coach a high school game. So don't ask me. I got to see highlights, but that's all.
I
So I'll
mean,
let y'all watched it.
you can tell that Jason Kelsey was kind of the backbone of that offensive line. There was a little bit of a struggle there. I mean, and I'll say it again. I don't think Jalen Hurts is that great of a quarterback. He kind of showed it off in that game.
Fifth
I was
in the
gonna say
league
from
in
what I saw,
passing.
highlights
Thank you very
it was
much.
bad.
Yeah, but whenever all you do is pass and run the ball yourself, you're gonna get stats.
Well, his run game was terrible. There wasn't much option there. But also,
Well, I meant last year. This year, he's not going to run a lot because they got Saquon, and Saquon proved that with a good offensive line, he is a top 3 running back.
But after that horrific kind of start with like the fumble and everything, I was like, okay, here we go. But he regrouped. Honestly, like I think he put together a couple great drives, and having Saquon as a nice little outlet is definitely a luxury. Thank you, Tim.
I mean, I think
Thank you, Tim.
yeah, because I had a say in it.
I know it was you.
I called up Joe Shane and I was like, "Look, man, we don't need Saquon.
Give him your rival.
Give him to my good old friend Pat.
I really think the Giants should just tank this year. Go ahead and get rid of him." But I think somebody who had a quiet game but was still very good was A.J. Brown, like always. Like, you didn't see his name get called a lot, but when it did, it was explosive plays. Speaking of explosive, you got Jaden Reed on the other side.
Yeah.
I say, what a game by him.
Also, like, as you can see, like, the Packers are a good team, and luckily, Love's avoided the major injury. So my MVP could still come true if he comes back and balls for 13 weeks straight, which is possible. So
I mean, he's out 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, if he misses 3, I think he's fine. But yeah, now it's if the Packers can win like 2 of the games he misses, because I do not believe in Malik Willis. I hear the Ryan Tannehill rumors too. Like I don't know if.
I mean, even if they get Tannehill this week, he's not starting.
Yeah, like
I think this week, no matter what, it's Malik Willis.
But
he could be like what was it, Baker Mayfield? He was gone from Carolina to the Rams.
Yeah,
and 2 days later he was guaranteed to start.
Well, let's see. Green Bay plays Indianapolis. Oh, that'll be hard for Malik. But I mean, we saw how Joe Mixon did against Indy. Josh Jacobs might have 40 carries. Because, I mean, what? Mixon had like 32.
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, I think Josh Jacobs might carry that ball at least 40 times. The only other thing from that game is another person that the Giants just gave away that was looking good was Xavier McKinney.
Yeah.
Which was a person that I really wish we would have kept.
He's pretty good. Definitely.
He's pretty good.
So
I like how he just slides out in it. It's pretty good.
All right, we've been talking about we're on to the 1 o'clock games. Let's just go ahead. Giants Vikings.
Wow.
I can't wait for Quinn Evers, whatever his name is, to be a Giants QB next year. First round pick.
I'm just glad my confidence is renewed that I predicted the Giants were probably going to be the worst team this year. And so far, it looks true.
Look, I'm putting this out here right now, and I'm saying this. Giants go 0-17, I am probably switching teams.
Hey,
I just can't do it.
Really?
Now, some people would hate on that, but hey, if you're committed to switching and after the dumpster fire they've been pulling lately, I think it's a valid reason to jump
Look, the last 3 years, Bryce has been trying to get me on the Buffalo gang, so.
Oh, don't go there. They're about to have the same thing.
I don't know. Maybe I'll stay in New York and I'll switch to a Jets fan.
Here's what I mean.
Or my whole family's been Ravens fans. I'll just jump in that.
I'm not going to knock you for you doing what you want to do, but I'm going to say this: I represent Dallas through and through. If they would go 0-17, I'm sticking with them, man.
I wouldn't probably
leave.
I wouldn't leave the Giants, but I would not have faith until I see a turnaround. And I'll be like, I'm not watching the games. If they get a win, hey, we get a win. I'm not caring.
I'm kind of the same way at this moment with Dallas. Until I see something good, I like my team. I'll support my team. I'll root for my team. But I don't see anything.
I mean, Dallas did great this week.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, with all of our years that we haven't gotten past, we've gotten to the divisional one time. We haven't gotten to a conference championship. What I'm saying is,
what I'm getting at, Tank, is I'd rather my team make it to the playoffs 6 years straight, 7 years straight, because I'm pretty sure Dallas has been there 7 years, than be at the bottom of the 3 every year. Like the last 5 years, we had 1 playoff game, 2 playoff games. And the second one, we got absolutely smacked around.
It is nice being in like the top 10 to 12 teams each year.
Knowing you have a do not like being 32 through 28. And that's been it the last 5 years, excluding that 1 year. I'd rather be in the playoffs every year and not make the Super Bowl than be at the bottom of the barrel wondering what my top 5 pick of the draft is going to be. I'd rather not be a Browns guy and being like, is this finally the quarterback that's going to do something for us the last 32 years?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'll support my team no matter what.
I don't have a problem with you supporting your team that's going to the playoffs 8 years in a row compared to me supporting my team that barely gets 3 wins a year.
Well, hey, how do you think all those faithful Commanders fans are right now? Because
if I could get through the Pat Shurmur, Jake Fromm year, I think I can make it. When we were kneeling on 3rd and 6 on the 2-yard line. But
I remember that.
As Sam Darnold, I want to give Sam Darnold his flowers and say he did good, but he played the Giants. I mean, Aaron Jones ran most of the time. So I don't really know.
Sam Darnold's the one that carried that team. What are you talking about?
The defense carried that team. They got as many touchdowns as Justin Jefferson did.
Right?
But all right, another 1 o'clock game.
What's that stat about Daniel Jones since signing the $160 million contract?
He's thrown 3 pick sixes, and he's only thrown 2 actual touchdowns. But I mean, you got to also then incorporate how many he's ran in, because I think he's ran in like 5 or 6.
How many has he fumbled though?
How many games has he finished?
Right in.
I think he's fumbled as many games as he's finished.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to another team that got smacked around. Saints beating the Panthers 47-10.
Yeah, okay. Giants' only hope at not getting the first overall pick.
I hate to say this, but I mean, if you put Bryce Young on the Giants, I think the Giants have a better chance. I think Bryce Young is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. It's just the Panthers' offensive line is way worse than the Giants' offensive line.
Yeah.
Say the Giants at least have Andrew Thomas.
I just feel like Carolina doesn't have a lot of. I'm not saying weapons because they do have some weapons, but they just, like you said, they don't have that O line to be able to help give them time and protect them.
Look, Carolina has the washed up receivers. Adam Thielen, he's like what, 33, washed up at this point. Deontay Johnson, he's like 29, washed up at this point. I mean, Carolina's.
Is Thielen not old already?
I think so.
And they don't really have
Miles Sanders
for their bad line. And I mean, I'd like to say their defense is decent, but you just saw what David Carr did to them. So.
Well, and I mean, not to mention they just lost Derek Brown, I think his name is.
I
think it's Derek Brown. And I mean, they got rid of who's that safety that's on Pittsburgh now with that trade?
I think it was me.
Deontay's 28. So, I was a year off. But I mean, getting rid of that safety, he's probably one of their best defensive players. Other than J.C. Horn, but J.C. Horn gave up that game. Anytime a ball was thrown to him and he had to run, he just jogged to him.
Right.
He's a way to make some money.
So, I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to that game because I didn't care.
Yeah.
So, let's go on to the barn burner, the one that got the police involved. Dolphins over Jacksonville 2017. Tyreek Hill getting arrested before the game, and Calais Campbell also getting put in handcuffs.
What is up? Like I'm not trying to take our podcast and put us out there as stop this or stop that and do this and do that. I just, what is up? What was going on? Like I know the reason that Tyreek got pulled over was a traffic violation, but other than that, like what exactly happened? Like
he was going 75 on a 25. Cops pulled him over. They went to his window, asked him for his license and registration and stuff, and then he rolled his window back up, and they told him get out of the car because he rolled his window up. Got out of the car, was cooperating, and instead they just threw him on the ground.
Well, I know the cop has been put on administrative leave. I do know that.
Yeah, but back to the game, Tyreek Hill had an 80-yard touchdown. Devon A-Chain blew up. Probably one of the best players that they sneakily got in the draft last year.
And 10 receivers this week eclipsed 100 yards. 2 of them on the Dolphins.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle had an explosive game. Jalen Phillips came back and made a good sack that helped Dolphins secure the win. Javon Holland punching out that ball as soon as Travis Etienne was about to score a touchdown, which kind of messed me up in fantasy. But hey, I think even if he got that touchdown, I wasn't winning this week. But hey, look at that. All 3 of us lost this week.
Woo!
But you play me next week or you play Pat next week?
I play Joe this week and then you next week.
Well, I'm going on too. I play Terry. His team's ridiculous.
Yeah,
so.
Nobody's beating Terry this year. Terry's 14-0. Yeah. The only person I think has a chance is me and Tyler. And the week that I play Terry, Tyreek Hill, and Justin Jefferson are both on bye. So I'm kind of screwed there.
I'm going 0-14.
I think you get 1 win, and that's because somebody in the league's not going to care about their lineup 1 week, and that's the week you're going to get them.
Ouch.
I don't know what I can do to even try to make my team better.
I'm telling you, dude, it's your running back core. You always slack on picking running backs. But hey, you lose this year, you get the number 1 pick, you get a solid running back next year, and you keep him.
Well,
I don't know.
unless
I
they're
don't even
all
know
kept.
what I was about to say. There are going to be.
Can we reduce keepers, or are we keeping 4?
I say we go back to 3. I
we
think
can
4 is way too
we
many.
can do 3, but right now it doesn't matter until the end of the league when we all get together and talk about it. But
yeah,
well, I'm voting for 3. I want somebody to give up somebody.
Yeah, you just want 3 because your team sucks.
I mean, shoot, even if it was good, I'd still go.
But if we do 3, I got to remember to flip the standings. Like whoever picks first, I have to make them pick 10.
Yeah.
Say because the whole keeper thing is so wonky. I assume that they would have put it at the last 3 picks. No, it's your first 3 picks. But all right, after that, speaking of picks, somebody I kept, CJ Stroud, taking the Texans to the Colts, winning 28-27. Stephon Diggs, 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon, 32 carries for
fantasy leagues. I'm not gonna lie, like that guy. That's why I swear he's going to make a big push for the MVP. I don't care what you all say. I know, Tim. You said the same thing as I did, but
he had a kind of mediocre game.
I don't feel like it was mediocre. I felt like it was better. It wasn't great, but I feel it was better than mediocre.
I mean, what? He only had like 200 some passing yards. 234 for 2 touchdowns, sacked 4 times. I mean, I don't really think that's blown away right now.
Yeah, he's not blowing it away, but he's leading it over top of Jordan Love.
Well, Jordan Love got hurt.
Well, it was 7 technically.
Also, I think Jordan Love had more yards, didn't he?
I don't know.
I know Jalen Hurts did.
What's that?
I said I know Jalen Hurts did.
Is it? I want to say it's Joey. No, it's not Joey. Who's got Jordan Love in our league?
I'm just okay that Anthony Richardson had a pretty decent game. Didn't get hurt yet.
Jordan Love, that's
I got
great.
I think he might actually have a good season this year. I really do think Richardson coming back from an injury.
Okay. Jordan Love, 17 for 34. So Stroud gets him on the completions because Stroud was touchdowns. But the difference is Jordan Love had an interception. CJ Stroud didn't. But Stroud was sacked 4 times. Jordan Love was sacked once. And popped his knee out of place. But yeah, the Texans team, I'm telling you, they look explosive. Just that defense. That's what's gonna get them. That offense is explosive, but that defense was kind of lacking.
Yeah.
But I mean, they also got a bunch of young people.
Yeah. And Diggs turned up to be a nice red zone option. So
yeah.
Mixon was showing that he's not washed like people thought he was on Cincy.
How long do you think Stephon is okay with what he's doing and then not getting the ball? How long do you think he's going to start?
Oh yeah, he got 2 touchdowns.
I don't.
He got like six targets. Like,
I don't think that was the problem in Buffalo though. I think the problem in Buffalo wasn't that they don't utilize him in playoffs. They use him throughout the regular season. It's when they go to playoffs, they stop caring about Stephon. That's the problem. That's why he wanted out. He was tired of getting 2 targets every playoff game and then it coming back on him for being the problem. But, why don't we just jump into
I'm almost positive now that I think about it because I'm now drawing blanks. But Cardinals got the first return kickoff out of the new
first return
kickoff system. So I got to give it to them. I like the new kickoff system. I'm not even going to lie.
It's different.
I think Kyler Murray looked decent. I think, like you said at the end of the game on that last drive, he was just holding the ball a little too long and not doing what he should have been doing with it. I think Cardinals really do have a team that can surprise us. I'm not saying they're a sleeper team. I'm not saying that they're going to go make it far and go into the playoffs, but I do feel like they will surprise some of us on some of these wins that they can possibly get.
I mean, I want to say that defense was good, but I mean, Josh Allen's a turnover machine, so I kind of got to wait to see that if that defense is actually good or not till they get another play. I mean, what, 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles, or Josh have one?
But he had 4 touchdowns accounted for, so
2 rushing, 2 passing. I mean, that's Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills is Josh Allen.
That's true.
So, fantasy owners like Pat over here keeping James Cook.
I got pretty good amount of points out of him. That's okay.
It's people like before they got Saquon, but like Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, having them when they like to just run the ball in themselves. It's hard to take their running backs. All right. After that, we got Tank and I Super Bowl picks. Actually, Pat, you picked them too, didn't you? The Bengals losing to the Patriots.
Classic slow start Bengals.
I was shocked about this game.
Put T. Higgins in there and they win. That's just. Yeah. I think Burrow was flustered because, again, they don't got an offensive line. They keep adding and getting all these people in free agency, and they're not doing anything.
Well, and let's not discount, the Patriots weren't that good last year, but their defense is, pretty stacked.
Not to mention Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
Dude, I never thought, I thought he was good. But, going, I didn't think he was that good.
Yeah, he slept on.
Him, he was explosive. He was, he was almost, honestly, he looked like another Derrick Henry out there. He was carrying people at times when the tackles. It was like, who are you?
Yeah, I'm ashamed that I did not start him in fantasy, but now I know. I mean, that's how week 1 fantasy goes. You never know what player is going to do what they did last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, other than that, like I said, you give T. Higgins in there and you're solid. Or honestly, they should have signed somebody like Hunter Renfrow. All right, we got 2 more 1 o'clock games. We got the Steelers versus the Falcons. We'll just blow through that one real quick. Steelers, 6 field goals.
Yeah. Their defense looks good. I mean, Boswell right up
Kirko
there.
wasn't ready.
I saw that Fields is possibly leading to be the starter next week also.
I don't know. I mean, until he really has a bad game, I just keep him in. The team worked around him. They knew what they were doing going in, so.
Yeah, I would start Russ.
I would start him to see what it's like. I'm not gonna lie, I would start him just to see what it's like.
Yeah. I mean, we got 6 touchdowns out of field or 6 field goals out of field.
That's what I'm saying. You only got field goals out of field.
We get 6 touchdowns out
of
Russ.
And I mean, to be fair, 3 of them were from turnovers on the Falcons side.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you just flip flop it. 1 game field, 2nd game Russ, 3rd game field, 4th game Russ. Make it so the team doesn't know who to prepare for.
Tomlin might do that.
Yeah, Tomlin. I can see Tomlin doing that.
So, there's another one of my teams losing this week. So, all right, the last 1 o'clock game, probably the worst one. Number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, 93 yards, 0 touchdowns, but comes out on top, 24-17. He's lucky he's got the defense he has.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll never judge just the first game. We'll see after 2 or 3 in a row, but that defense is definitely a helper, especially this week against Will Levis, who might make worse decisions than Daniel Jones.
How did Doomsday do? I didn't even look.
Not too well. I don't.
I'd say Keenan Allen. I mean,
Yeah, Allen
Pat, you
got
said it. What
overthrown for a touchdown.
you said it? What Chris Sims said. If he threw that ball on target to Keenan Allen's getting the touchdown.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never. Go ahead.
If he would have thrown the pass to where it could have been caught, it would have been caught.
Duh. No, I've never been sold on. I was never sold on Caleb Williams, and I never will be. I don't think I mean, now give me let me retract that statement, because if he would go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, maybe I could possibly give a little bit of respect to him. But I never been sold on him. Never
I
liked
don't
him
know,
in
man.
college.
The
I didn't think he
Bears
was
went to the
great of a
Super Bowl with
college.
Jay Cutler, and nobody gave Jay Cutler respect.
I
Well,
love Jay
Oh,
Cutler.
wait. Was it Rex Grossman or Jay Cutler? I think it was Rex, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Rex. Now I think about
Yeah,
it.
nobody gave Rex the respect. Everybody thinks it's Jay Cutler.
I don't think.
Yeah, against Colts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I love Jay Cutler.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna hit it with your guys' favorite segment from you guys voted on during the award show.
Was it?
It was nominated the favorite segment. We're going to That Catch with Tank right now.
Welcome to this week's episode of That Catch, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we got 3 videos that I think were phenomenal catches. Let me get right to them. We have the first one up from the Jaguars, Brian Thomas Jr. Here's the video.
Harrison the block to the end zone.
All right, here's the second video that I nominate. The Buccaneers, Mike Evans.
Plays this perfectly. Physical off the release. A lot of hand checking.
And the third video comes from none other than the former Cowboys, Amari Cooper on the Browns. Here it is.
Out of his hand, get it to his playmaker.
Here's what you said, a quick throw, and he gets it there on time for a...
All right, well, you saw all 3 videos, and here is the winner. Tim, you were a drummer. Can I have a drum roll, please? I can hear it perfect. I did not really hear it, but I heard it. We have the winner of Mike Evans from the Buccaneers. Congratulations.
All right, now that we're back from that, we have the 4 o'clock games. John Harbaugh, or no, what is it? Jim Harbaugh. He comes back into the league, wins his first game, 22-10, charges over the Raiders. How about Joe Alt?
How about him?
19. He lined up against Max Crosby. Max Crosby pressured 19 times, and he did not allow one to get through.
Nice.
So
yeah, I didn't see much about this game other than Dobbins having a pretty good.
Yeah, Dobbins is clearly running back number 1.
Yeah,
until he gets hurt week 5,
and then Gus will come in, and then he'll get hurt
week 9.
Yeah.
And then it'll be some. It'll be some undrafted rookie. It'll be some undrafted rookie. Or, hey, Dalvin Cook was on the team last year.
Oh, that's true. Yep.
So they had Dalvin Cook through the playoffs. So they'll get Dalvin Cook for the remainder of the season. Although I think Zeke's probably going to go down by like week 8 and Dalvin Cook will step in.
Yeah, I can see that.
But, I mean, I didn't really pay attention to the Chargers game other than, was it Joshua Palmer and somebody on the Raiders got into a ginormous fight and got thrown out?
I didn't see that. I didn't see the highlight of that.
One of the receivers got into a fight with a safety, and I mean, they both got ejected. Hands are flying, fists are flying. It was broken up. More people running back in to attack. It's typical.
Why can't we just all get along?
Typical Raiders charges. All right. After that, Seattle 26, Broncos 20. Bo Nix.
What's your thoughts about Bo Nix?
I think if he's got a good offensive line, he could probably look decent. I mean, looked better than Caleb Williams.
I think that week to week on my defensive fantasy side, I'm going to pick whoever's playing the Panthers or the Broncos, to be honest. So
pick whoever's playing the Giants.
That too. I mean,
You got
whoever's-
Washington this week.
Well, no, maybe not them.
Yeah, I was thinking that this year's the year that just whoever the Giants play, take their defense.
Really?
I was really thinking of picking up Minnesota's.
Well, that's why I drafted the Bears defense, because it started off with Tennessee, and I was like, "There's no way Tennessee is going to be good."
Yeah, so I don't know, man. The Seahawks, they do this every year. They look real good at the beginning, and I know at the second half they're going to start crumbling.
Yeah, they didn't look too great. Looked like a middle of the road, like where you would expect them. I think probably finish 8th or 9th in the conference, miss out on the wild card spot.
I think 8-9, 9-8 team barely misses.
Yeah,
It's gonna be one of those you need so and so to lose to make it in, and you're in, and then that 1 o'clock game, the one team wins and they're out.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals jump them for 3rd instead of 4th in the divisions. Like,
yeah, I'll get you that, because I think the Cardinals showed a little more.
Yeah,
I think Gino's kind of getting to the point where he's not what everybody thought he was 2 years ago. He looked good on his feet, but not throwing.
They really don't have like a squad. Like,
who's their backup? Just wonder.
Oh, Sam Howell.
Yeah,
they traded for him.
That's right.
So
do you see Sam Howell possibly making a start?
Sam Howell's not good.
Well, I get that, but I mean, I'm not saying injury wise. I'm saying, do you think that Gino just starts?
No, if
crapping
Gino
out?
doesn't get hurt, then there's no way Sam Howell's coming in.
Right.
I think no, Heineke got traded. Where did he get traded? Titans?
you know he is.
I was gonna say if Heineke's a free agent,
Falcons, wasn't he? Then
yeah, and he was traded.
I thought it was an out west team.
I thought it was the Titans. Taylor Heineke's the Chargers.
Cardinal, the Chargers.
Back up of the Chargers.
Yeah.
I knew it was an out west team.
I mean, Desmond Ritter's out there, isn't he? Cardinals got rid of him. He didn't sign with nobody. Maybe Desmond Ritter over Sam Howell. I would definitely take that.
I don't. Oh, they're like, I don't know. It's a toss.
I would honestly take Howell over Ritter.
Desmond Ritter got signed back to the practice squad. So he's back there, but he's on the practice squad, which means anybody could take him technically.
Yeah.
So, all right. After that, we got Tank's team, the Cowboys, rolling in, beating the Browns 33-17. And I'll say it. Dallas this year looks like a first half team. Second half, they crumbled.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But I think Mike Zimmer stepping up for Dan Quinn was a good replacement. I wouldn't say he's better than Dan Quinn, but I think it was a nice replacement.
I didn't think he was going to be the way that it showed on Sunday's game. I really didn't. I did not think we were going to have the defense, and I didn't think the players were going to be backing up Zimmer like they did for Dan Quinn. But let me tell you, I feel like they're playing with their hearts and doing great. But like you said, second half,
there's a couple drop interceptions that Dallas could have stolen from them, but they just kept dropping them too much.
Let me just say it. I was not. This was not the year I was big on the Browns to start. All right.
No, you're on Green Bay. Green Bay.
Right? Let me just say it. I did not predict the Browns to win their division this year.
Yeah, what happened to your guys' bet last year? Who came out on top of that one?
Oh yeah, I ended up losing, but I don't. But
I can't remember what we bet.
I thought we mutually agreed that since they made like playoffs, it was like okay, or something like that.
I
don't remember.
Well, I thought that you predicted Browns being 1 or 2, and they were second in the division.
No, they had to win their division.
No,
Yeah,
it was no. Pat said Browns and Steelers were going to be 1 and 2. It could have been vice versa, but that was the prediction that Browns and
Gotcha.
Steelers would be the top 2, and
It
Steelers
was,
were third.
I also predicted the Ravens to finish like 6-11 or something. So
Yeah, you said that they were going to be they were going to be the last in their division.
that was going to be their fall, and I was wrong.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, the Browns. Hey, that guaranteed money, you get that for Daniel Jones and Deshaun Watson. Oh boy, they'll show you how to play football once you give them money.
You know,
Yeah.
and Deshaun, he doesn't look. I don't feel like he's not there in the mind. I don't feel like
looks like yeah.
I will give Deshaun a pass this week because 3 days before the game, his father died. And the day before the game, one of his teammates from Clemson died. So I'll give him the pass for this week. So next week, if he does bad, I'm not.
Nice insight, because that can affect mind if you're letting it. But and I didn't know that. But yeah, I agree. It looked like he didn't know how to make a decision.
But I will say, after watching some of that game and how his offensive line treated him, he clearly doesn't have the team behind him.
No.
Because I think there was like 4 times he was on the ground and his team refused to pick him up.
Well, not only that, you also saw the offensive lineman on the ground, and Deshaun went there, go over to put his hand down, to help him up. The guy didn't even want Deshaun to help him up.
That's what I'm saying. They refused to help him up. They refused to have him help them up. And Commanders versus the Buccaneers. Jaden Daniels is looking like a pretty stellar quarterback, I'd have to say. I'd say out of all the rookie QBs, Jaden Daniels was the best this week.
100% hands down. I agree.
I also can't
feel
blame
that
total team performance.
I feel that Washington made Baker look good.
Yeah, the defense
I don't think Baker
blew a
looked
lot
great.
of coverages.
I feel that Baker looked good, but the reason he looked good was because of Washington. It wasn't because of him. It was because of Washington.
Honestly, I could see
both
just
ways.
The way their offense is set up. I could see Baker having 250 yards, 3 touchdowns a week. And if he limits himself to 1 interception, maybe explosive passing offense.
I mean, I agree that Washington kind of made Baker look good, but Baker also was placing some pretty nice balls to his receivers to catch.
I mean, look who won that catch, though. Look who won that.
Yeah.
And I mean, they finally got an offensive line to let Rashard White run.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Bucks might be sneaky good this year. I projected the Falcons to win that division, and I'm thinking it's going to be the Bucks now. But the only other thing is, come on, man, use Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
You spent all that money for Austin Eckler, and the reason he wanted out of LA is because they weren't utilizing him and paying him. And then he signs with a team that's not utilizing him again. I mean, his first catch was a catch for 25 yards, and then you don't use him for another quarter and a half.
I will say that I whoever does the equipment, like the helmet equipment, needs to figure something out with Daniel's helmet. I mean, there was twice he got the first time he got hit and it popped off. The second time he was trying to run a touchdown, and it came off the ball was at the half-yard line and they couldn't. He ended up falling into the end zone, but because his helmet had came off before ball crossed, and they had to bring the ball back to the half-yard line. So I mean,
the second time is not on the equipment manager. The second time, a defender literally got his shoulder pad stuck in his helmet and ripped it off, basically. Which college level, you see that a lot.
You just got to tighten your helmet down.
Look at Jaden Daniels. He has a small head.
But you start tighten that crap up.
Hey man,
Yeah.
growing up playing football, having a small head, I will say it's hard. I had to wear a beanie to make my helmet actually fit my head. And
I
running
never had
around
that
with a
issue. I had a big
beanie, running around with a beanie and a helmet, it gets hot.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, I never had that
But
issue. I had a big head always.
I mean, Jaden Daniel, he needs to learn to slide.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Say he was taking some
horrible.
hits.
Yeah.
Like I think I can slide better than that, and I don't slide.
Yeah. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, coming in for your second favorite segment of the year, we got Tim's Have a Day. All right. You know what that means. We got 3 nominees for Tim's Have a Day based off of fantasy performances. So, up first, we have the Friday night game, the Packers, Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed had 4 catches, 138 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 rushing attempt for 33 yards and a touchdown. Next up, we have the man who used to be a Raven and is now part of the Chargers, J.K. Dobbins, with 10 attempts, 135 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 3 catches for 4 yards. And last but not least, I hate to say this because he's a former teammate of mine and on a team I cannot stand, we have Saquon Barkley. 24 attempts, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 catches, 23 yards, and 1 touchdown. 3 touchdowns by Mr. Saquon Barkley. I will put in there some honorable mentions. Joe Mixon with 100 and some yards, but I'm not picking him because of how many carries he had. Tank, you're going to like this. Brandon Aubrey, honorable mention with what? 3 50-plus yard field goals. And then we had Chris Boswell, who had 6 field goals. But unfortunately, I'm not going with Saquon. I'm going to go with the man, Jaden Reed. Have a day. So,
I'm totally shocked because I totally thought you were going with Saquon. Let's just look at Pat's face. Look at Pat's face. I legit. I mean,
look, Jaden Reed had more yards than Saquon did put together. He only had 1 less touchdown.
Listen. I wanted Dobbins to win. He got 13.5 yards per carry.
Yeah,
That's
but
insane.
it was just the 1 touchdown that got me with him.
Yeah, you know.
I'm legit. I thought you were going to go with Saquon.
At first, I was going to do Saquon, and then I was like, wait, I think Jaden Reed had kind of better stats here. But, all right, ladies and gentlemen, time to go over Tank's favorite game. The Lions and the Rams in overtime.
Yeah, overtime, baby.
You all know how much
one.
Tank loves overtime.
Nothing like a nice Sunday night overtime.
Lions came out on top.
Do you really want me to tell you how much I love overtime games now? You really want me to tell you?
You don't.
0. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Look, man, I feel bad for Pat, man. He had the chance to win in fantasy, only down by 1 point. And they don't even play Gibbs at all in overtime. It was all David Montgomery.
Oh, Montgomery.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, I'm okay. They change drives pretty often. It's their routine. So, I mean.
Well, they also said Gibbs was nursing that injury he had during the offseason. That's why they didn't utilize him as much.
Use him too much. Yeah.
Same with Laporta.
Hey, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my hug because I love you, brother. I'm sorry you lost like that.
Yeah, you know, it's all good. It also came down to like which receiver was I gonna play and sit out if I would have put in Neighbors instead of Harrison or whatever. Like,
yeah,
just like things like that.
I say it's the little things like, you know, I play Ramondre Stevenson over Eckler and I get extra 12 points, make it a little closer. It's, you know, all the things like that.
I get that. I'm just saying I love you, Pat, and I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But hey, how about Cooper Kupp? 16 catches.
21 targets.
I think he's going to have a year this year, and I hate to say it.
Well,
I don't think he's going to have a year.
Puka's injury?
Puka is at least 4 weeks because he's on IR, so it has to be at least 4 weeks. I think the second half, Puka's going to take over.
Oh yeah, second half. But I think for right now,
Yeah.
It's
Cooper's.
Cooper Cup show again. It's 3 years ago again.
I would say
Yeah.
they don't have Puka. Cooper Cup's breaking the record this year.
Oh yeah, God yeah.
But with them having Puka, I think that Coop's going to slow in the second half. I also think Stafford gets hurt. I hate to say
prayers
that,
for their
but
line. Their offensive line they're on like their fourth stringers at this point, and
I mean, what the left tackle they said was fourth string, barely got any reps in camp.
yeah,
That's sad.
yeah. So who knows?
I mean, the Rams still looked good on defense even without Aaron Donald.
I don't know. I feel like even without Aaron Donald, I don't think they look that great.
I know. I think
There goes my worst. There. Take it from my worst take. I mean,
no,
I'm
your
going for the
worst
third
take was
year
already last week.
I'm going for the third one in a row.
Say your worst take was last week, saying you wanted Giants Vikings at Thursday night.
Again, I'm trying each week. I'm going to spit something out for the worst thing. I'm trying for again.
Just wait for it. We got a Monday night Giants Steelers game, so
Hey, that's actually going to be a decent game.
that'll be a nice 9 to 15 field goals only game.
No, first down, all first and third downs is going to be Justin Fields, and all second and fourth downs are going to be Russell Wilson.
I don't know. That's one I'm not looking forward to. Then the Giants play the Bengals on Sunday night. I think that's going to be a massacre right there. Be a nice 38-6 game. But yeah, any more takeaways from the Lions? Amon-Ra kind of quiet.
Yeah, he was.
Hey, they
He only had what four fantasy points, I think it was.
They got J-Mo instead.
J-Mo was the explosive guy, yeah.
Say Jameson Williams, I think
coming for that. Kind of quiet too, like.
Well, Laporta was also nursing an injury, but wanted to play.
Yeah. I think they're just they have a lot of weapons. Like,
I think they're coming off of a season that everybody thought they were going to do bad or wasn't projecting as good as they did, to a season where now everybody's expecting them to do that. And it's kind of in their back of their minds like, hey, we went to the championship last year. We got to do something this year. So I think they might be overdoing it themselves. They might be a little too worried.
Do you think they're going to be a one-hit wonder?
I don't think they're going to be a one-hit wonder. I predict them to win the division this year. But I think in the back of their minds, they're like, we got to do it again. Everybody's riding on this. So I think they have a little more on their plate than they did last year that made them this good. So, all right, last up, Aaron Rodgers finally finished a whole game as a New York Jet as the Jets lose to the Niners 19-32. CMC not in, but Jordan Mason doesn't care as he has himself a pretty good game, even though he got in trouble at the end.
I didn't see the game. I'm not gonna lie.
Even though he got in trouble at the end.
What happened at the end?
They asked him when he found out he was going to play, and he said, I don't know, like Friday night or something. And that means the Niners knew CMC was not going to play, so they had to disclose that, but they waited until Monday night to say something. And when they asked Kyle Shanahan, he was like, I don't know why he's telling you guys that he was told Friday night. I said, you're going to get a lot of carries over CMC if he's, still hurting, but I'm not guaranteeing you're starting. And that kind of made this whole thing of, is Jordan Mason lying or is Kyle Shanahan lying to save the Niners from getting in trouble? And then when Jordan Mason came up to speak after the game, one of the reporters was like, so when did you find out you're going to play? And he was like, I hate you guys for asking me this question because you got me in trouble back in the locker room. So next question. So
nice.
Say it got him in trouble with Shanahan, got him in trouble with most likely John Lynch. There was apparently a talk that they were going to investigate the Niners for everything, but they kind of just dropped it.
Let's see.
because it's one of them he said, she said type ordeals, and they're not.
Yeah, I mean,
you need to throw in the Law and Order SBU.
well, either way, like even if they told him he was going to start, that doesn't mean McCaffrey wasn't going to play.
Exactly. I mean, it didn't mean
Like,
McCaffrey was going to be out. He still could have started and McCaffrey play like third downs.
Yeah, like I don't see the big deal. I hate those
so
little like.
I think that's one of the
fine
reasons
detail
why they were
things.
like, I'm not going to investigate it, because maybe there was talk that Christian was going to play a couple snaps.
Yeah.
And then at the
he's
last
hurt.
second, they were like, nah, Christian's out.
Yeah.
And the only reason they disclosed this is because of
he's-
bettors.
I think I also read something that he might be out next week too.
There is actually talk that he might miss a couple months, depending on how like severe
What kind of injury
is.
It's one that he gets where it needs healed for half a year at least, and
it's
it's unfortunate.
Achilles
but it's
tenderitis or something like that.
It's like his calf Achilles. Yeah, like
yeah, which it's not ripped or anything. It's just it gets tightened up and like it's harder to try and run on. Better than my leg where I can't use my leg, but he can still use his.
well, and they did that on offense though without him against the Jets, who are apparently a great defense. Like keep him out 4 weeks, put him on IR. Why not? Like
say all these people complaining on fantasy, who cares?
Save him for the back half of the year, honestly.
Yeah, when people start to figure out Jordan Mason, bring CMC in.
Yeah.
Like, look, you figure this guy out, now I'm trying to get this guy again.
Yeah.
I mean, Debo was explosive. I think Ayuk showed what happens if you don't report to camp.
Yeah, a little rust. He could have shook that off in camp if he was there, I think. But he did have a lot of good routes and
Juwan Jennings showed that he's not to be forgotten. He wasn't a one-hit thing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I can agree.
But I mean, he aggravated his ankle, missed hip drop tackle.
Wasn't you the one that said that they were supposed to?
Yeah, they said they were going to start calling flags on hip drops, and they missed at least 3 this whole week. Because I mean, there's that one on Josh Allen, and he got up and started screaming at the ref about it.
Hey, they didn't miss any illegal formation calls, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, 12 on the Ravens.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh boy.
But Hassan Reddick missed the game. Said he wasn't playing. He wants that contract.
They might have to give him now.
Yeah, seeing how that defense played, they might have to. I mean, CJ Mosley got hurt in that game. Sauce Gardner got hurt in that game. Yeah, say they might have to just pay Hassan. Because, I mean, you pay Hassan, you got Quincy Williams, Quinnen Williams, Hassan Reddick, and CJ Mosley. It's going to get hard to run through that. But, all right, ladies and gentlemen, before we sign out, Pat, can you give us a preview of your power rankings that will drop this Thursday? I already know what you're about to say. Who's the bottom team?
Bottom team is Carolina Panthers.
Honestly,
it's got to be the Giants. Carolina actually got a touchdown.
Yeah. Why don't I put them 31 AB?
31-T for Tide.
Yeah, there we go. Both of them there, because it's hard to choose out of those terrible situations.
Yeah. They're going to be the bottom 2 until we hit November 5th when they play in Germany, and then that'll really decide.
What did Germany do to get that kind of game?
World War II?
No. Yeah, I mean, no real surprises here. Super Bowl champs coming in should be the preseason one, and after week 1, they'll likely keep it. Pretty good win against a good team. I mean, I want to say there's a surprise in the top 10, but there's not because there's a lot of talk around them. So we'll have to keep an eye open there.
Telling you, man, you don't put the Saints in the top 10. There's something wrong with your list.
All right, the Saints are not going in my top 15. All right,
Dude, highest scoring team this week.
all right, that means nothing to me. But no, I mean, it's going to look a lot probably like last year's final top 10 rankings. A lot of the same top 10 teams did really well this week, so won't be too different to start the year. We'll see if anything spices up there.
Well, you guys are going to have to figure that out tomorrow when Pat's rankings drop Thursday, 9/12/2024. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, comment down below how your team did. We always like to hear how your guys' teams are doing, who you guys are fans of, and whatnot. We do have an update with the Home Run Derby. We may have to find a new field. I'm still trying to figure out if the field we were going to use, the fence got torn down or not. I asked my brother to drive by and look, and I still haven't heard from him. So if he does, we are moving the field to the Mon Alto field, and I will let everybody know about the address and all that. And it's still at 12 o'clock, still September 22nd, and there is a slight chance I will be walking. Because this Thursday I officially start PT. And I have 3 PTs before the Derby. So let's hope. On to you, Pat.
Well, yeah, let's hope you're able to make the rounds, do a little lap around the bases for us, maybe. Hit home plate, get yourself a home run.
I ain't running.
We'll give you a home walk then. All right, it's fine. As far as my exiting thoughts, I don't know. 1-0 to start the year for the Eagles. Hopefully they keep that next week, Monday night game. On to you, Tank.
Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, you can follow us on the good old X, aka FKAARTA, Twitter. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget, once we hit 100 subscribers on the YouTube page, you will be entered to win a prize from yours truly, Tim, Tank, and Pat from the FreshTakes podcast. So make sure you like and subscribe and share and ring the bell so you get notifications when we pop them up. Also, like Pat said, there might be a surprise in his top 10 power rankings. Check that out tomorrow on our Facebook page. Congratulations, Tim, to hit the PT. Don't forget, we do have our home run derby. I'll be the one hitting. Tim will be the one managing, and Pat will be the one throwing. Yeah, other than that, I will see you all next week, and I will come up with something for a worst take again. Peace, y'all. Tank out.
Goodbye, everybody.